Hello everyone, Percy number 6 here, and today I'm going to answer my Q&A questions. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who sent your questions in for my second Q&A. I'm excited to answer them. I'd like to say a couple things first. If you ask me a question that someone else did, I'm not going to answer it again. So one example would be, is Duck returning? Because a lot of people ask that. I will answer it the first time I see it. After that, I will just ignore it. Now, if that's your only question you asked, I'm not just going to ignore you entirely. I'll at least say your name. But if you ask that question and I already answered, I'll just move on to your next one. With that in mind, let's get this Q&A going. Uh, First, my first question is from Travis Rawson. I will apologize now if I mess up your name or username. It is bound to happen. But he asks, why did you make Toby evil? Basically, how did you get the idea? That's a very good question. I'm surprised. I was thinking most people would ask, why did you get rid of Duck? So I like this question. Uh, Toby. This actually comes back in 2014. You guys probably remember the user Oliver Doc Ted. I talk to him all the time, and I still do. But uh, I forget how it all went. But we kind of were brainstorming what I thought I would do for this season. This is way back in 2014, and the movie probably comes out in 2017. Yeah, it was a long time ago. But anyways, he was suggesting to me what I should do. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted, and I don't want to give away what's going to happen in the movie, so I won't go to full detail. But for what I wanted, he recommended Toby. It was his idea to do Toby, and that's why I am using Toby. Big part is because of him. And when that movie does eventually come out, hopefully it'll be before the year's up. I'm not making any promises. When that movie does come out, I will be thanking him for it. He was a big part in helping it. My next questions come from Annoying Oranges Rule established 2009 EDCP. He asked a couple, what is your favorite episode in your series? My favorite episode in my series? I think, if I had to choose, I think I'd go with the final farewell. Oh, I love that. I loved making it. It didn't take a lot. It wasn't like a super hard episode to make. Honestly, it's probably one of my easiest just by what I did. But it's one I vividly remember. It was huge for my series because it changed a lot of things. This came out in 2014, so the fact that I think of it now kind of surprises me that I still think of this 2 years later. But I remember filming it. It was an episode I was waiting for a long time. I had Sir Topham Hatt retire. I haven't seen a lot of people do it, at least in the way that I do it. I've seen people get rid of Sir Topham Hatt, but the way I did it, I was excited. When I released that episode, knowing what happened, it was nice. I was so excited about that. I also liked the first episode of season 6, and there he was. First one, I used sets instead of layouts. I put a lot of work into that. I actually really enjoyed it, and it kind of set the tone for what season 6 would be. I really enjoyed it. Fun fact, and there he was, one of my favorite TV show of all time, How I Met Your Mother. I took the title from that. One of the songs they play is called And There She Was. I changed it to he, because it was a Mr. Conductor, and he's not a she. But I love that episode. I took the title from that. It was the start of season 6. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So, honestly, either of them, I loved both of them. And you're next. Will you ever take request again? Will I take request again? Probably not. I'm not going to say never will I take another request for episodes, because that's, I assume, what you're asking. I'm not going to say that. Season 7, I'm taking 5 episodes. Haven't picked them yet, but I am. And I don't think I'm going to ever do another season of that show. I'm not marking out a return. Who knows, in 5 years from now, I might be like, hey, let's do season 8. But I don't think I'm going to do another season after 7. And my other series, I don't take episode suggestions. I'm using quotes from the episode as the title. So, yeah, that's the plan. So, probably I'm not going to take any more, but I'm not ruling out that I never will. It's just don't don't get your hopes up that I will, because season 7, I plan to be the last season. Next question comes from Swank Steam 7579. Who is your favorite engine from the show? It is the engine that I named my channel after, Percy. I always loved Percy as a kid, and I still do. So for me, when I was deciding to come up with a channel, it was easy to come up with Percy number 6. My next question is from Thomas Tank Engine 76. Is it true that Erdl Lady can fit on wooden tracks? Yes, it is. I don't know if maybe I mentioned this in a video and that's why you asked, or you're just wondering yourself, but she does. I actually like the Erdl model a lot more than I do the wooden model of Lady. So sometimes, I didn't do it all the time because it didn't have magnets, but sometimes I'd use it on the wooden tracks, and like we all did as a kid, just redoing that Magic Railway scene with her, Thomas, and Diesel 10. Sometimes I use that. Like I said, I prefer the Erdl model, but yes, it is true Lady can fit on wooden tracks. My next question, he has 10. I think is going to take out some that other people ask. Roger Rubenstein. Congrats on the Q&A. Number 1, how many Thomas Wooden Railway items do you have? Engines, coaches, trains, road vehicles, cranes, figures. I don't know. The best bet, if you want, can go count in my collection video that I just released, I think in May. You can go check that. That's my most up-to-date. You can see if you want to count for yourself, but yeah, I don't know. A lot, if that helps. Do you want to audition for my series? No. Sorry, I rarely ever voice act. I'd voice act for Oliver Duck, but he was like the only person I ever did. It's hard. I just don't want to commit myself and then get you late voices. Sorry. 3, how old were you when you first got into Thomas and Friends? I remember getting it for Christmas when I was 4, but I think I was probably 3. So, most of my life, really. Have you ever considered doing a live stream sometime? I've thought about it. I just don't think I will. I'm not saying this is again like that earlier question. I'm not gonna rule it. I'm not gonna be like I'm never doing a live stream. I just don't envision myself doing a live stream anytime soon. I'll say this, I wouldn't be shocked if I do a live stream, but I won't be expecting it anytime soon. I don't know. Live streams I just never got into, and I prefer not to just be on my computer for 3 hours with a mask on, just to my camera. I just don't want to do that. Maybe I will. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Number 5, what do you think of the return of old characters such as Duck, Oliver, Donald Douglas, Bill Ben, Duncan, Jack, Alfie, Max, Monty, Oliver, the Excavator, Mike, Rex, and Bert? I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of the new series. I have seen some. I usually always see the specials. I see occasionally I'll watch episodes. But hey, it's good. I enjoyed pretty much all these characters as a kid. I remember when I first got the big Thomas book with all the characters in it. I was hoping any character I saw that was not on the show, like Rex, Bert, Mike, I was hoping they would come on someday, and they eventually did. As for the pack returning, I always like them. Oliver is my second favorite, so happy to see him come back. And then his next question, do you think if Splatter and Dodge return, they should work for Thomas? I don't know. I don't think so. They'll just be another Diesel. So I guess do that. What was your first Thomas train ever? Well, if you go by that means it doesn't have to be wooden. My first Thomas items I had were the Subway Thomases for Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Are you excited for the Great Race and the return of the Flying Scotsman? Yes. Nice to see the Flying Scotsman finally come back. I'll probably watch that. I plan to at least, so that'll be nice. Here we go. Will Duck be found in your series? I know a lot of people will be asking this, so if you are thinking about asking this, you sent it or you just want to know, listen, because I'm not answering this again in my Q&A. I am not gonna say so. I can't say. Uh, I'll tell you this. By the end of season 7, you will know if Duck's ever come back or not, because that's it for my series. If Duck's not back by then he's not coming back. If he is, that means he's come back. I can't say anything. I guess I'll say I don't plan it, but yeah, I'll say that much. I know. I still get comments on videos like, when's Duck gonna return? I get that all the time. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. And his final question, number 10. If you could remaster one of your episodes, which would it be and why? That's a good question. Uh, I don't know if this counts as cheating, but I'm gonna go with this one. Now, I doubt many of you remember, but when I first joined in 2008, I had a series, and it was 6 seasons. Same series, title Thomas the Tank Engine Friends with Real Life Stories. I ended up deleting all the episodes, and I closed my account, eventually reopened it. Closed it again, eventually reopened it. I think I closed it one more time and reopened it. But I would go with one of those. There was an episode called The Visitor, and I always thought about doing it because here's the problem with that. I doubt anybody remembers it, but I still remember it because it annoyed me. My first season, I used a Kodak camera, and my problem with it was, and this is 2008. I don't remember the exact details, but when I would do something, I think when I imported or something, if I didn't do it this certain way, it would only take like the first 10 or 20 seconds of the clip, and then whatever. So like if it was a 5-minute video, the first like 10, 20 seconds would be what I recorded, and the rest of it would be black. And I usually was able to catch it. The one time I didn't was for The Visitor. So I'd like to redo that, although frankly I haven't done that in a long time. Like I don't remember what uh the episode was about. So if I would to redo it, it wouldn't be the most likely it wouldn't be the same plot. But yeah, I would go with The Visitor. Thank you so much for your 10 questions, and I answered all 10. So that's nice. Next is TomFan01. He has 4. His first question: how were you introduced to Thomas the Tank Engine? Honestly, I was too young, so I don't really remember. My parents probably just put it on the TV and I enjoyed it. Which characters would you like to see come back in future seasons? Duke. Duke's always the go-to. I always liked Duke as a kid. I loved the narrow gauge. It had a special place in my heart. And I'd probably go with Duke. 3. What is your favorite season of Thomas and Friends? Who? I think if I had to go, I'd say season 4. Because it introduced the narrow gauge, and as I just mentioned, I love the narrow gauge. And it still had a lot of good episodes in it. I always enjoyed season 4. So I'd probably go with that. And who is my favorite narrator of Thomas and Friends? Easily George Carlin. He did a fantastic job for the show. From all my VHSs and DVDs I had as a kid, he narrated the most of them, so that might be a part of it. But I always enjoyed his voice. I like the Beatles. I like Ringo Starr. He was okay, but not as good as George Carlin. Alec Baldwin, not as good as George Carlin. Anybody else since, not as good as George Carlin. All right, my next question. Awesome Train 77. When will you change from Percy number 6 to Oliver number 11? Fun fact, Oliver number 11, I had as my backup account. But I actually did use it for a little bit when I first closed Percy number 6. Then I found out, oh, you can actually bring back deleted accounts. At the time, you could. If you're thinking, oh, thank goodness, sorry, it doesn't work nowadays. Uh, but I used it for a little bit and got rid of it when I brought Percy number 6 back. Oliver's not my favorite. If he was, then I could see myself maybe changing to Oliver number 11, but he's not. I've had Percy number 6 since 2008, so I'm going to stay that way. Next, Dipper and Thomas and Henry 13 has 5 questions. 1 is about Duck, sorry. 2, will any other engines get killed off? Huh. I don't want to spoil anything. In Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends Win Relay Stories, I have what I want to do for season, or for the movie. I know what's going on in that. that I did back in 2014, as I mentioned. As for season 7, I don't really have a plot down yet, so I can't say yes or no. Uh, so I don't know. As for my other series, Branchline Chronicles, all I can say is it's darker than Thomas the Tank Engine Friends of Wooden Railway Stories. Take that as it is. What are your top 10 engines? I don't know if I have top 10, really. Uh, Percy's my number 1. Oliver's my number 2. After that would probably be maybe Skarloey. Uh, Peter Sam. I always like Peter Sam and Skarloey. They were two of my favorites. Maybe Duke. Maybe not. I don't know. I've never really put down a top 10. Maybe someday I'll do a video. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to rule that out, but I'm sorry, I'm only going to say Percy and Oliver because as a kid, those two I liked the most. I mean, there were engines like Stepney I really liked, but I don't know where I'd put them in a top 10. So my safest, I know it's only 2 engines, but Percy is my number 1, Oliver is my number 2. What inspired you to make your channel? This is way back in 2008, so this is before he was known as Thomas Wooden Railway. Kikray24. I didn't really like Thomas at the time. Like, I liked as a kid, but I had other interests at the time. Looked up on Google, and I was searching Thomas just for the fun of it, see what's going on. And I found his videos. I'm like, wow, these are good. Started talking to him, made a channel in September, and almost 8 years later, here I am. Number 5. Will you make an Adventure Begins but for your series? So how everything started in your series? That's an interesting idea. I probably wouldn't do it for Thomas the Tank Engine Friends Wooden Railway Stories. Maybe Branchline Chronicles. The thing is with Branchline Chronicles, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I could see myself once that series is over doing like a little mini back series to it, like why, because it's about Stanley, but I don't know. That one I could see myself maybe, but I doubt I'd ever do it for Thomas Tank Engine Friends of Wooden Railway Stories. Even Branchline Chronicles, I don't think I would, but again, I'm not ruling out the possibility of it. Alright, my next question comes from Thomas and Friends Lego version. Why did you make Toby evil? Already answered. Is Toby working with Diesel 10? I am not gonna spoil my movie, because that will be answered in my movie. Is Diesel 10 making another plan to scrap all the engines on Sodor? I'm sorry, I can't answer any of your questions. I kind of answer your first in my... I did answer your first question in my number... Well, kind of. I don't know. I just don't want to spoil anything for the movie, so sorry about that. The Trackmaster Thomas and Friends show. His question is... Will Branchline Chronicles be similar to your Thomas and Friends series? I'm writing the script for it right now. I'm still deciding if I want 10 or 13 episodes. I think what I will do is... I'm on episode 3, so I'm not as far as I want it to be. But hopefully I'll be my schedule will be a lot calmer come the middle of August. So hopefully I can use that time to finish writing and then finish writing, finish filming. I haven't started filming, but I have 9 to 12 episodes I need to film since I only did episode 1. But once I have all that done, I will upload it. And I can tell you this much, it's not going to be super similar to my series. It is a much darker series from my Thomas the Tank Engine Friends. That one is like about what you see on TV, but in my wooden version, this not so much. It's just the characters. So, probably not. It won't be that similar. And his second question, and is Toby now considered a bad character because of what he did, or is he just being cheeky? That will be answered in the movie. Next is Camille Tapoli. I'm sorry, I know I botched your name. I'm sorry. What's your favorite Thomas and Friends movie? Well, technically, there's only one movie. It is Thomas the Tank Engine, Thomas and the Magic Railroad. But yeah, honestly, if I had to choose, I think that'd be my favorite. I loved it. I've probably seen that movie more than I've seen any other movie. It's hard for me to go against another. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but hey, I do. I always enjoyed it. I don't know this. I don't get this question. Joseph Rogers asks, "Are you putting Lady Oliver, Lori 1, 2, and 3?" I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I really don't. In my series, I don't know if Lady's been featured in my series, but the other four have. If that helps. Wooden Fan 1. He asked about Duck for his first question. His second, are you open to crossovers? Crossovers take a lot of work. Uh, I if I'm I will usually if I'm gonna do a crossover with someone, I will come to you. I'll keep it at that. Next question, Arlington Trains underscore weather 124. When will when will turn your I'll read it word for word. When will turn your profile picture to another engine like Gordon and change your name like Gordon number 4? I don't plan on that. Percy number 6 is the count I made back in 2008. I'd rather keep it that way. It's not like, oh, I change it every month. No, Percy number 6 is my username and it's here to stay. Next is Bracket Thomas and Mario 7 Bracket. He has 5 questions. Ooh, these are all very good. I like them. What will be the main focus of your channel after your series ends? Very good question. I'm really excited to hear someone ask about that. I didn't mention it too much, mainly because I'm not for sure. It depends on what I'm doing. I'll tell you this much, in a year from now, as I'm probably going to be even busier than I have been this summer, and I've been very busy this summer. So my channel, my focus will just be to make a video every once in a while, which is unfortunate. And I guess I don't know, who knows, maybe I'll be wrong when I'm talking about what I'll be uh in a year from now, but as for my main focus after my series ends, assuming I keep it Branchline Chronicles. If not, I'll probably do more reviews, maybe some crossovers, remakes, just those things, because they're a lot easier to make than a series. Next question. Will Donald and Douglas be in your series? I assume you're talking Branchline Chronicles. They might be. If they are, as of right now, I'm not really planning on them ever having a big role in it. So that, yeah, I mean, they might make cameos or maybe make a one-time line, something like that, but they're not going to be really a big part of my series, Branchline Chronicles. They're not really going to be a big part of that. 3, can you re-upload all your older videos from your old channel? My old channel is Percy number 6. Trust me, if I could, I would. Back then, I did not regret it. I didn't think I ever would. I was wrong. I regretted deleting them back in 2008, 2009. If I could, I would. That's all I can say. I cannot. Every video's been deleted. Any computer I could access it is gone or doesn't have it. I deleted on that too. There's one computer, but that motherboard is out. I'm pretty sure it's the motherboard. And I'm not gonna pay like $200 just to maybe get 5 videos up. Because if they were like around the time I was deleting my channel, so they weren't that good. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't. 4, why is Toby bad? Answer that. 5, will Branchline Chronicles get a season 2? Very interesting question. I like this. Great questions. But it depends how season 1 goes. If I think people like season 1 enough, then yeah, I'll keep it going. Like I said, I'm going to be very busy in a year from now, so the episodes will probably be a lot fewer, but maybe. Depends on how much people like it. That's the main thing. If people really like it and are like demanding I bring it back, then obviously I will. If it doesn't get that big of a following, I'll probably just let it go because I will be busy in a year from now. Trust me, it'll be a lot easier not to do the videos. Thank you again for your questions. Next question is TWR Fanatic 1. Number 1, who inspired you to join YouTube? Answered that. Who are your top 10 favorite characters? Kind of answered that. 3, who are your top 10 least favorite characters? I would say Thomas, but no, and Thomas I kind of like. James, I don't really have any characters that I like. Oh, I don't like them. Even the newer ones, but like I said, I don't watch as much of the newer Thomas, so it's not like I see a lot of them. But as a kid, James was one that kind of always irritated me, just because he was so boastful. So I don't really like. I don't have a top 10 in that case. Uh, Number 4. What is your favorite Crash? Probably the one with Peter Sam and trucks, or what I think it's called Rusty Helps Peter Sam. I thought that was a good one. It was sad, but it was big impact, changed the series forever. Number 5. What is your favorite wooden railway model? Huh. My favorite wooden railway model. You might be expecting, oh, Percy. No, Percy's not. Honestly, Oliver, I really liked his model, both his old style, his 2000 style. Like, by 2000, I mean like, I guess it was 2006. Yeah, 2006. I like that one, and I like the one that just came out like a year or two ago. I liked all three. I like all three. There's probably some others I can think of, but though Oliver was the first one that came to mind, so it must be one I really like. That's all I have, and keep up the good work, Lawrence. Thank you. Next questions come from Toby77C. Would you build sets? I did for this past season. I built sets. Layouts I did for my first 5 seasons. Season 6 I did sets. Next, what is your rarest item? Probably. I don't. Does that count as rare? I mean, I guess I go with my 92, 93, Daisy, Toby, and Mavis. They're my oldest. I have a Milch tanker, but that's not rare in Germany. I don't know. And how much was your rarest item? I forget how much the Milch tanker was. I think it was about $20. Daisy was $20, and Toby and Mavis were $15. That's including shipping. Next questions come from RTB Productions. 1. What else do you watch on YouTube besides Thomas? I watch a lot of videos. NFL, kind of wrestling, not as much anymore. I watch a lot of NFL. Pokemon. What else? I I watch a decent amount of politics. Not all the time, but there'll be days when I'm just watching a lot of it. How I Met Your Mother, I watch a lot of those. House of Cards, I watch a lot of clips from those shows, just ones I really like. But yeah, those are what I mostly watch. What music do you listen to? A lot of 60s and 70s. I love the 60s and 70s. The Beatles, ELO, Bee Gees. Oh man, there are so many great bands, and just singers like Billy Joel, Elton John, all 4 members of the Beatles. Like there are so many good singers and groups from the 60s and 70s. I love 60s and 70s music. And number 3, Mac or PC. For years, I was not a Mac user. For the past year, I've been a Mac user. Next questions come from Runaway Kittens 54A 50 or 540A. I'm sorry, I botched that. Number 1, do you like the Wiggles? I really liked them as a kid, and I hadn't listened to them for years, but when 3 of the members broke up, when Greg, Murray, and Jeff left, they retired, I started listening to them again, and still do. I don't listen to them. I'm not saying like I listen to them all the time, but I'll listen to them occasionally, and I like them. I like them. I like the Wiggles. They're good. Like I say, I don't listen to them all the time, but I like them. And 2, why do you like Percy so much? I think as a kid, he just. I'm usually not one to like the main, or as a kid at least I was. I guess nowadays not so much. But as a kid, I never really liked the main guy. Like Care Bears, I like Care Bears, but I didn't like Tenderheart. Tenderheart wasn't my favorite. And that's kind of how I felt. Thomas was never my favorite. Percy always was. I guess that's why. And Percy's good engine. Let's see. We're almost at 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna ask There's two more questions, or two more users, because they have quick questions. Next, Andrew Abramson asks, is there going to be a movie? Yes, there will be a movie after Season 6. It will come out after Branchline Chronicles Season 1. Oliver and Edward 13 asks, who's your favorite Thomas and Friends character? Percy. If you can choose one engine to return into CGI, who would it be? I kind of answered this already, but I'll say it, Duke. Anyways, that's part 1 of my Q&A questions. Thank you all for the questions. I'm probably less than halfway. I've been talking a lot more about my answers for these questions than I expected. But thank you all for the questions. There'll be many more answered. If yours hasn't been answered yet, stay tuned for part 2. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Until next time, this is Percy number 6. I'm out. See you later.